Yeah, how do you get from the border to the dugout of a major league team? I think it's amazing with sports how evident it is when faith plays a role. Faith can have an unbelievable positive impact on the whole experience of being in sports at the professional level. I'm of Mexican descent. We lived just a few miles from the Mexican border, and in the mid-60s, there was a big hurricane in Texas. We ended up at the downtown shelter. We lost everything. Right then, my dad decided we're going to move to California, start over. So we jumped in the Rambler station wagon, and kind of the story is there was so much rain that we tucked in behind a Greyhound bus, and the bus parted the waters, and we tucked in behind all the way to California. I grew up in a town called Milpitas that was probably the more working class community, but it was Latino, African American, Filipino, but all of us were kind of in that same economic class, so sports became one of the places that we came together and really began to find that a lot of those barriers were broken down. We're in the middle of La Villita, or Little Village, which is a Mexican neighborhood on the west side of Chicago. The name of the church here is Nueva Vida of La Villita. I was a pastor at the beginning of when the churches here started. One of the staff people at the church, he was also the chaplain of the Chicago White Sox. When he began to recognize how many Latino ball players were on the team, he reached out to me as a pastor, and he said, hey, could you come and help me do chapel every now and then? But then, not too long later, the organization that runs all the baseball chapel all over the country, they approached me about maybe coming and being involved as the Chicago Cubs chaplain. What I found in my time, 6 years I was chaplain for the Cubs, there was a lot of ball players that were coming to chapel every Sunday. And I saw a very deep hunger spiritually for a lot of these ball players. I took advantage of my ability to communicate bilingually, and it was appreciated when somebody came and said, hey, how you doing? And ¿cómo está tu familia? You know, how's your family? They do have challenges beyond what's going on the field. The challenge of going from extreme poverty to now having a great deal of wealth in many instances. A lot of the Latino ball players have come from countries that have experienced a lot of turmoil, whether it's politically or disasters like Puerto Rico, like situations in Venezuela with all of the political unrest. That's not something you can just turn off. My call over the last 30 years has been to work with the economically disenfranchised. But there's also a spiritual poverty that we all recognize. And it doesn't matter if you have a multi-million, billion-dollar contract or if you're a professional ball player. What does it profit a person to gain the whole world if they lose their soul? We don't want to just see these ball players have this incredible life here, and yet they are now experiencing the kind of abundance of love and forgiveness and friendship and faith that only God can give.